Hi, in this brief video we want to talk about the Battle of Pollentia, which Prudentius, a 4th century AD Christian writer, gives in his work A Reply to Address of Symmachus. Prudentius was born in Saragossa in Spain, and he was one of the court favourites of Emperor Theodosius. And the Battle of Pollentia was one of 3 great victories that the Magister Militum, the Germanic Stilicho, Commander Stilicho, and who was also regent to Theodosius' successor in the west, Honorius. Theodosius died in 395 AD, and he had and his 2 sons succeeded, Honorius in the west and Arcadius in the east. And Stilicho was basically the one and only commander they had. Both of them had one commander, Stilicho. Everything rested on Stilicho, and Stilicho defeated the Germanic hordes of Alaric thrice. And the second victory came at Pollentia. So, Prudentius reports, not long since a Gothic king. Now, Gothic king is wrong actually, because these are Goths, not Geti. The Geti are a Thracian tribe. So, came from his native Danube and essayed to wipe out Italy. Having sworn to raise these strongholds to the ground, destroy our gold-roofed buildings with fire, dress our toga-clad nobles in skins. So he's comparing the Roman aristocracy to the barbaric hordes. Already in his onward rush he has trampled down Venetia's lands, and with squadrons has laid waste the riches of Liguria, so that Germanic hordes have raided parts of northern Italy, and was pressing hard in their fair countryside by the deep Po, and passing the river on the soil of Tuscany. But it was no watchful goose that drove away those clouds of horsemen, revealing a peril that was hidden in the darkness of night, but the rude strength of men, breast shattered in the clash of battle, a spirit that feared not to submit to death for its country and to seek glorious honour through its wounds. Did that day to bestow its great reward of valour by Jupiter's favour. To lead our army and our power we had a young warrior, and by that he means the Emperor Honorius, who was useless. Mighty in Christ, and his companion and father, Stilicho. Stilicho was the regent, and Christ, the one God of both. And it was after worship at Christ's altar, and when the mark of the cross was imprinted on the brow, that the trumpet sounded. First, before the dragon standards, were a spear shaft raising the crest of Christ above them. There the race that for 30 years had plagued Pannonia was at last wiped out and paid the penalty. The bodies of men who once enriched themselves by their ill-famed plundering now lie piled in heaps. Thou wilt marvel, posterity, in later ages, at corpses lying unburied far over the ground, which had covered the fields of Pollentia with their bones. If I was able to lift my head from the desolation of ashes, after I was laid low by the hands of the Gauls, if at Camillus' return, still smoking as I was, received back my standards with a smiling face, if I could wreathe my sad ruins with garlands, and geared my listing towers with bay, with that feeling shall I take thee to my heart, most valorous Emperor. What flowers shall I scatter, and what wreaths set my halls, with what drapings hang my gates in celebration? For this great war has not touched me, but while thou didst stand under arms have been free, and the Goths' invasion only reached my ears. Mount the triumphal car, take thy spoils, and come hither with Christ by thy side. Let me take my chains from off you captive throngs, drop the manacles that long bondage has worn smooth, ye troops of matrons and young men. Let the old man be no longer a slave in exile from the home of his ancestors, and the child begin to know himself reborn, now that his mother has come back with his father's house. Begone all fear, we have won the victory, now we will leap with joy. Right, so here's the account that the 4th century AD Christian writer Prudentius gives about Pollentia, one of 3 great victories that Magister Militum Stilicho had over the Germanic hordes of Alaric.
Stilicho, the Magister Militum. The guardian of Emperor Honorius, the protector of Rome.